Tractate Avodah Zarah, page Ma Hashem Elokecha Shoel Mi'imach, page 45. The Holy Mishnah. Before we talk about Shivrei Tzlamim, yesterday we talked about idol worshippers, part of that. Now we talk about Mechubar LaKarka. Idolater will worship natural feature of the earth, such as mountains. So the Mishnah discussed the law of natural objects attached to the ground that were worshipped by idolaters. So they said, Hanochrim העובדים את הערים ואת הגבעות, הן מותרים בהנאה, הן מותרים, ומה שעליהן אסורים. So, if those non-Jews worship mountains and hills, the Tosfot Rimi Birina said that the same apply if Jews worship them. The Mishnah speaks of non-Jews because that's the case discussed by the Pasuk in Deuteronomy 12:2. So they said those mountains and hills are permitted for benefit. For example, it's permitted to plant on the mountain or remove stones from it. Umasha alehem asurim. However, whether is on them, such as gold or silver, overly is forbidden. Shene'emar, because they said in the Pasuk in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 25, Lo tachmod kesef vezahav alehem velakachta. The carved images of the gods, you shall burn it, the fire. You shall not desire or take the silver and gold that is on them. So that's basically teaches that such ornaments are forbidden to benefit. The word aleihem, on them in the Pasuk, teaches that ornaments of an idol, of any worship object, even if the object itself does not become prohibited, such as when it's attached to the ground, are prohibited. That's the way Tosfot Yom Tov said. Now Rashi said, ומה שעליהם כגון עם ציפום זהב הכסף אסור שנאמר לו תחמוד כסף וזהב עליהם ולקחת לך. So that's basically the gold could themselves. Rabbi Yosef Glili Omer. So Rabbi Yosef Glili explains why mountains and hills are not forbidden, based on the pasuk that the Torah commands us to destroy item of idolatry. So he said, the pasuk states, you shall utterly destroy all the places where the nations that you shall possess worship their gods, on the high mountains and on the hill and under every lefty tree. So you understand, thank you, the psukim, Elohehem ale harim, the gods are on the mountains, which implies velo heharim Elohehem. But the worship mountains themselves are not considered their gods. Elohehem al hagvarot. Similarly, the continuation of the pasuk can be understood in reading their God are on the hills, which implies velo hagvarot Elohehem. But the worship hills are not considered their gods. So the pasuk teaches that the mountains and hills, as well as similar items that are attached to the ground, do not become prohibited if worship as an idol. Now, it will seem to follow that we should explain the final words of the pasuk, and under every lefty tree, in the same way, which is to teach that only the God under trees are prohibited, but worship trees themselves are not. That, however, is contradicted in a different psukim. So Rabbi Yossi explains, מפני מהשרה אסורה. So why is an Asherah, a tree of idolatry, forbidden, as the pasuk states, the Asherah tree shall be cut down, מפני שיש בה תפיסת ידי אדם. It's because a tree comes about through a person's involvement, which is the person planted. וכל שיש בה תפיסת ידי אדם, אסור. So whether comes about through a person's involvement is forbidden. If it is worship, for example, mountains and hills, however, they came about without anyone's involvement. So therefore, if they are worship, it is permitted to have benefit from them. Tosfot, the second part of the Talmud, 45b, said that Rabbi Yossi will agree that a tree that grew on its own will not become forbidden if it was worship. Anyway, so what do you see here? Rabbi Yossi explained why trees are different from mountain and hills, but did not explain what the Torah is actually teaching with the words and under lefty tree. So here the Maharam explains that the way that another Tana explained this by taking a somewhat different approach to the entire matter. Rabbi Akiva said, Ani ovin ve'adun lefanecha. Ani ovin ve'adun lefanecha. So there's a Binyan Shlomo here and more. But Ani ovin is like fancy Hebrew. So adun va'afaresh lefanecha, Ra'a said. Rashi said, שאין לנו לדרוש מעוטה מתחת עץ רענן שלא נאמר אלא למסור להם סימני מקום שרגילים לנו לעבוד שם, שהם עבודת כוכבים, כדי שיתפסו שם וישראל שם ויבערום. Beautiful. So he said, I will explain it in a matter of logic before you. כל מקום שאתה מוצא הר גבוה, the Pasuk tells us that the Jews entering the Eretz Israel, wherever you find a tall mountain, v'giv'an nisa'a, an elevated hill, v'etz ra'anan, a leafy tree, da, you shall know, sheyesh sham avodah zarah, that there is an idol there. So therefore, you must seek out the idol and destroy it. So in a way, like Rabbi Yossi Aglili, that's the way Tosfot Yom Tov explained, Rabbi Akiva maintained that mountains and hills do not become prohibited if they were worshipped as idols, while trees do. However, he explains that this pasuk is not directly teaching these laws. Rather, it is guiding the Jewish people to the idol hidden by the Canaanites. Nevertheless, from the very fact that the pasuk singles out the idols on the mountains and hills, and says nothing about destroying the worship mountains and hills themselves, we can conclude that they are not forbidden. Trees, however, which the Torah elsewhere in Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 5 said does not tell us to destroy, are prohibited. So now soon you see it in the Gemara that it's evident that the Tana Kama dispute Rabbi Yossi Aglili and Rabbi Akiva. In the Tana Kama's opinion, the pasuk does not exclude trees from becoming prohibited if worship, but only if the trees were planted with intent to worship them. The pasuk that require us to destroy Asherah trees is referring to specifically to those trees that were originally planted with that intent. So let's see it in the Gemara. Rabbi Yossi Aglili Hainu Tana Kama. So Rabbi Yossi Aglili basically the same as Tana Kama. Both of them indicate that what it is on mountain is forbidden, while the mountain itself is permitted. Omar Rami bar Chama Omar Reish Lakish, Tzipui har kahar ika benayu. The coating of the mountain is like the status of the mountain itself. That's the difference between them. Tzipui har, that it's whatever you put it as an ornament, noi, made out of gold, made out of silver, masha lehen, that's the Mishnah. Tana Kama savar tzipui har eno ke'ar u'mitzar. So the first Tana hold that the coating of the mountain is not like a mountain, and therefore is forbidden. That's the idea of the pasuk. זה לא תחמוד כסף וזהב עליהם כל הנאבדים. ורבי יוסי בן סבר ציפוי הר הרי הוא כהר. He said that coating of the mountain is like the mountain itself. So therefore, you don't have chalot, avodah zarah in the other one. You cannot differentiate this batel lahar. That's the way Rashi explained. The Ravid hold different view. Anyway, another explanation this machloket. That's Rashi. Said Rav Sheshet amar dekule alma. Rav Sheshet hold that everyone agrees with the status tzipur har and no kehar, that the coating of the mountain is not like mountain itself and is prohibited. That's what have different views. He said, the Shana Achad Ekara la Tay Da'at Tanakama Dutachmod Mashma Shafir Le'sor Tzipui Har. Page 45b, Ve'hacha in our Mishnah Be'ilan Sheneta'o Ulvasof Avodo Kamiflege. Here we talk about the tree that one planted and subsequently worshipped. So here, originally speaking, when it was initiated a planting of a tree, it wasn't for the sake of idol worship. Later it happened. So here you see a disputation between the two. Tanakama sabar ilan shenta'o ulvasof avodo mutar. Rabbi Yosef sabar ilan shenta'o ulvasof avodo asur. Here you have a difference between the two. The first Tana said, no, if it was originally planted with nothing in mind and subsequently later worship, that's a different story, that's permitted. Meaning, if you have a certain restrictions when a person makes a stipulation while planting the tree, that's one thing. As long as it happens while it was planting according to Tanakama with no other intent, then it's not an issue. So here you see that Tanakama hold those mountains that was worshipped are permitted because it wasn't a certain circumscription. The person circumscribed, didn't limited his words, but he said that if it was tfisat yad adam, that's the big question. B'ota sha'a, that very moment when he planted. So Tanakama said kilu tzamach me'elav, that it's like happened naturally. And when the Torah said in Asherah that it's prohibited, it means if it was milkatchila, if it was initiated in a sense to do idol worshiping. That's the whole point when the pasuk said et Elohem v'tachat kol etz ra'anan, that the tree itself is not considered Elohem, is not prohibited, only when it was that intent. That's the way Rashi explained to us. So the lechatchila is crucial. Thank you. According to Rashi explanation, it's called here, a little bit. But Rabbi Yosef said, no, ilan shenta'o ulvasof avodo asur. So tfisat yad adam, that's go retroactively. Meaning, they said that if originally it was planted not for the purpose of idol worship, but since they have tfisat yad adam at that moment, so therefore, if it was idol worship, it's prohibited nesar bana. That's the way Rashi explained. If you go by the text in the Torah, the Ramban, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, have a different explanation. So now the Gemara elaborate how Rav Sheshet learned his interpretation from the language of the Mishnah. Mimai, from what we learn that the intent of Rabbi Yosef is to prohibit the tree that he planted and later on he worshipped. Midiktani sefer, because we learn in the last clause of his sentence, his statement that he said, what's the Asherah is prohibited, adam, because they have a human involvement. The moment you have human involvement, anything that is product of human involvement is prohibited. So by merely fact that Rabbi Yosef repeats his sentence and he said, it's not include a tree that one planted and subsequently worship. It's also prohibited to derive benefits. So since it was tfisat yad adam, it was a human involvement at the time was planted. That's the idea of v'chol sheyesh bo lisad adam. V'chol meaning even that originally was a human involvement, not for the purpose of idol worship. It's still prohibited to derive benefit, and that's unlike Tanakama. Avav Rabbi Yosef bar Buddha savar ilan shenta'o ulvasof avodo asur. דתניא, רבי יוסף ברבי יהודה אומר, מתוך שנאמר אלוהים על ההרים, because the Torah in the book of Dvarim chapter 12 verse 2 said, Elohim, the God on the mountain. So it means the mountain itself is not considered Elohim. Elohim על הגבעות, ולא גבעות לאלוהים, אלוהים. שומע אני ותחת כל עץ רענן אלוהים ולא רענן, אלוהים, תלמוד לומר, ואשריהם תשרפון באש. So therefore you derive from the word, and there אשריהם you shall put in fire. Even a tree that was worshipped only after it was planted is prohibited. That's the view of Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Yehuda. So what is the תחת כל עץ רענן? אלא תחת כל עץ רענן למה לי? Why we need it? So you cannot derive from that a tree that grows by itself is not prohibited, because otherwise it's not a chidush Tosfot said. Because if you don't have any human involvement in that tree, which means you treat it the same as a mountain, that is not prohibited, so you don't need to have a derivative from a pasuk, Tosfot said. ההוא לרבי עקיבא ודעתה דבר רבי עקיבא, אני אובין ואדון לפניך דס לליין. הנה משנה, כל מקום שאתה מוצא הר גבוה וגבעה ניסן ועץ רענן, דע, remember, it's a very important word, שיש שם עבודת כוכבים. So you should know that is idol worshipping there. ורבנן, the sages said that if originally was planted not with the intent to idol worship, and only later on he idol worship there, you're allowed to derive benefit. Hi, ואשריהם תשרפון באש, my avdelei, how to derive the pasuk, and you burn the asherim with fire, which is, that's the derivative that they hold if it's intent originally for the sake of idol worship, therefore is prohibited to derive any benefit. Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda nami ba'ile le'achi, should derive the same. Achename ela ilan shem tov לבשר עבודו מנהלי נפקא ליה ואשריהם תגדעון. זהו עת שגידו אסור ויקרו מותר, ואומר אילן שם טוב ולאוסף עבודו. ואשריהם תשרפון באש כהניסיב לתלמודה. So the Gemara said, אילו לא נאמר תשרפון באש, הייתי אומר אשריהם תגדעון בילה שם טוב מתחילה לכך. רש"י דכתיב ואשריהם תשרפון באש, אי יתר לי ואשריהם תגדעון לאילן שם טוב ולבסוף עבודו. ורבנן, היי ואשריהם תגדעון מה יעבד לי? וכד רבי יהושע בן לוי. דומה רבי יהושע בן לוי, גידויי עבודת כוכבים קודמים לכיבוש ארץ ישראל, וכיבוש ארץ ישראל קודם לגבורה עבודת כוכבים. This is a big subject. What preceded what? To eradicate idol worship, they conquered the land of Israel. What come first? One of the things that you see a relatively current disputation is about the Shlosh Tashuvot we study several times. The view of Rashi that you have to eradicate first. That's the view also of the many extremers, that first you have to eradicate all the idol worship before you conquer the land, while the other way around, their view that first you conquer the land and then you search for those three to eradicate them and expunge them. That's the idea how you derive from the sentence of the Torah that said in the book of the Dvarim, chapter 7 verse 5, מזבחותיהם תיתוצו ומצבותם תשברו ואשריהם תגלו ופסלם תשרפון באש. This is a long list of how you eradicate the idols in all different forms. עבד תעבדו את כל המקומות. So it's the Oraita have a biblical commandment to eradicate the idol worship from the world, and it's not, the Chazon Ish said, it's not enough that you ruin the way it's appear, but you just totally needs to expunge it. The Tana Rav Yosef, ונתעשתם בברכותם הנח ושברתם מצוותיו והנח וכהנח סגדתך שריפה בים, הרב הונא רודף ואחר כך רדוף ואחר כך שרוף. So he holds that you have to do first pursue the enemy and then return and burn them, meaning the first smash the objects of idol worship and then conquer the land and then return to burn and smash item. ורבי יוסף רבי יהודה הסברה מנהלן, נפקא ליה מעבד תעבדון, עבד ואחר כך תעבדון. Which is you have to separate between the two. ורבנן, המבא לעיקר עבודת כוכבים שצריך לשרש אחריה. Mean, after you, it's necessary to teach us that when you get rid of an object of idol worship, you need to root all the traces of it. ורבי יוסף ברבי יהודה לשרש אחרי המנהלה, נפקא ליה והעדתם את שמם מן המקום ההוא. He derived from the pasuk that said, you shall destroy the name out of place. ורבנן, ההוא lechanot la shem, which means the part of that is to have a derogatory nickname to an idol. And that's basically to ibud Shem, to eradicate the name. So that's basically, the Ma'arik said that the moment you have a kinui Shem, new one, you basically expunge the previous one. In a way, if a person have a nickname, he lose in some ways his original name. דתניא רבי אליעזר אומר מנין לא קרוא עובד כוכבים שצריך לשרש אחריה. תלמוד לומר, ואיבדתם את שמם. How do you know that you need to get rid of it? Because the Torah said, and you shall destroy their name out of their place. So it's important to know that two halachot. One is the Rambam, Ilchot Avodah Zarah, chapter 8. You see it also in Shulchan Aruch Yoreh De'ah 145. He said it was prohibited to derive benefit from any tree that was initially planted for idol worship. And you see also by they said that the Rambam, Ilchot Avodah Zarah, chapter 7 said it is a positive mitzvah to uproot and destroy any vestiges of objects of idol worship. In Eretz Yisrael, it is a mitzvah to seek out objects of idol worship and cleanse the land of them. Outside of Eretz Yisrael, one is not obligated to search for them, but they must be destroyed from the area conquered by the Jewish people. You see it also in Yoreh De'ah in 146. Page 46. Amar lo Rabbi Akiva. So Rabbi Akiva said to him, V'alo kvar ne'emar abed te'abdun. Rabbi Akiva said to Rabbi Lazar, it's already stated you should destroy. So that it means obviously that you rooted, you take out all the traces of idol. In Kenman Talmud Marvi Batchem Shama Komahu, you know the Torah is very prudent and Torah did not repeat something for nothing. Every time, remember yesterday we talked about Lot of Ashagdi, it's written 3 times, each time is different, one time for food, one time to cook, one time to derive benefits. So each time the Torah said something as a meaning. So why you said apparently twice, Abed Abdun, and then you said V'ibadtem Shema min hamakom hahu, it looks like the same. So he said Lechanot Lashem. Lechanot Lashem meaning the Rabbi Akiva hold the same as the sages, that he requested to have some type of nickname to name out the place, a nickname, so it's just a way of denigrating. So Tosfot derived from that Rabbi Akiva hold the same as the sages, and therefore what Rabbi Akiva said, Ani avin vadun lefanecha in the Mishnah, he meant to say that he follows the view of Rabbi Yosef Glili, but he himself hold the same as the Chachamim, as the sages. Echol leshabeach, leshevach sakalatach. You mean to say that you have a positive nickname? How come? You can't do that when you deal with idol worship. You have to say something that it shows that they are something very negative. Maybe play parv, play Switzerland, you don't want to take part and you just neither positive nor negative. So they said, Talmud lomar shaketz teshaktzenu v'ta'ev teta'avenu kicher amud. The Torah said in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 26, you shall detest it and you shall abhor it, for it is a prescribed item. So it clearly indicates that the nickname should be a negative one. Ha-ketzad. So now the Gemara specifically said, when it's come to a nickname, it referred to idol worship, that is what? Hayu korim ota bet galya, korim ota bet karya. If they call it the high house, now they call it something that it's very low, digging, bet karya, bayit shafer, something like kichreish, lower. The same way, ein kol, if they call it all seeing ein, which is a positive, we have a nickname, we said, ein kotz. Kotz is like a throne. So again, it's a kind of negative connotation. The Meira and Ritva bring another nickname, negative, derogatory nickname to idol worshipper, and the Ritva also expanded how you do it, and to make sure that people understand that this is a very negative item which people idol worship.